Sorry. Good morning, everyone. My name is Szentirmay. I hope you can hear me at the back. And the ones sitting in the front, they are lucky. They can also see me. We are talking about several countries today. I will tell you something about Hungary, which is a small country in Central and Eastern Europe. But maybe you can use this information to have a more bright view on Central and Eastern Europe, because I think countries in this geographical area, they are quite similar to each other. I'm working for a company which is called Riskcover. This is a fintech startup very much focused on credit management, located in Budapest and in Germany in Cologne. I'm not a collection guy, but much more a credit specialist. So what I try to do, that I collected a couple of recent challenges which might have an impact on your collection results and your risk management workflows and procedures. As you will see in my presentation, there are several figures about KPIs and so on. Because I only have 10 minutes, I will just keep this part of the presentation. If you download from the webpage of the association, you will have all the figures. But I think it's much more important to speak about the challenges and some couple of tricks what you can use on those markets. As you can see, we are very much credit-oriented, especially in Hungary. We do our business more than 60% on credit, on payment terms. So let's keep this part. It's quite healthy. Average payment terms and average days, so it's quite okay. If you compare the figures with Western Europe, they are almost similar. So I think results are quite okay in Hungary. Let's take the recent challenges. I think this is overall observation about Central and Eastern Europe, that people started their business right after the political change in 89, 1991. They are now at the age they would like to retire. They have certain money. They are not focused on their business anymore. So they're looking for a new generation. And this might have an impact of the risk of those companies. On the one hand, because not all of them are able to leave their business and to approach a professional management. Or they do not have a successor. So they, in the family or in his team, they do not have a new generation of managers. So anytime if you evaluate or if you work with a customer of you, which has local ownership, maybe a family company, you have to keep in mind that the new generation of managers is now in a changing procedure. And the question is how far the new generation will be able to keep on the track what was behind of the company. There's another issue recently. One of the major issues, at least in Hungary, the labor shortage. On the one hand, people working in Hungary, they might be probably happy because their salary is growing quite fast, because you can hardly find new colleagues on the market. On the other hand, this is going to be a real issue right now. There was a big survey and a big analysis in Hungary where managers of multinationals and mid-sized companies were interviewed what is the biggest challenge today for them and for the future. And it was basically the lack of employees, lack of well-educated employees. There is no unemployment at the moment in Hungary, basically. Only in Budapest, there are at least 20,000 IT engineers needed. So there are so many jobs open, and companies are not able to get enough staff. This might slow down new investments in the country, and also this might slow down the growth of the companies. I think probably Czech Republic, Slovenia, Slovakia might be similar. I don't exactly know their figures, but my personal view is that they have similar issues. Fraud. I think this is also an overall issue, maybe not just for Central and Eastern Europe, but for whole Europe. There are identity frauds. Maybe you have heard those frauds, which is called fake president, where hackers they replicate the identity of a manager of a company, and you know, in those cases, corporates might lose a lot of money. There was a very famous case in Germany with fake president, where a German company has lost more than 40 million euro on one fraud. So this has a growing trend, and also related to the tax issues. Tax fraud is quite an issue in Central and Eastern Europe and in Hungary as well. So if you evaluate your customers, never forget that it's very hard to have early warning signs of tax frauds. But this is an aspect you have to always keep in mind that might be a challenge. Okay, recent changes in the tax and fiscal control. This will also have a big impact. On the long term, I'm really happy about it because this will, let's say, force corporates to work on the light side and not on the black side, on the green side. But in the short term, in the short run, there are many corporations working in the gray area today. They will have difficulties, and probably many of them they will get bankrupt because of the new rules. Today in Hungary, each track, each delivery on the road is controlled, so each track has to be registered online at the tax authority. Each cashing machine in a shop is online interface with the servers of the tax authority, and starting next year, each accounting system and the ERP system will be also interfaced online to enable the local tax authority to control all transactions. I think this helps the economy, but for a short run, you probably will be faced with a lot of difficulties based on this. Disputes, I think, is quite popular all over in Central and Eastern Europe. Corporations and managers, they are happy to use disputes to get more time before they pay your invoices. There is nothing serious behind. There are not so many real disputes. They just want to have 1 month more, a couple of weeks more before they pay your bills. Okay, and I just have 3 suggestions, 3 tips for you if you make business with Hungary. Based on the local insolvency law, if you send a dunning letter right after 20 days, and within these 20 days there was no dispute, then you will be able to start a legal procedure even if the buyer, your customer, starts any kind of dispute afterwards. So I recommend to you to send out a dunning letter at least on the 20th day or 21st day to your customers, because this will help you to start legal procedures against your buyer if it's needed. The second one, you have to always control the ownership network of your customer. This is a quite typical setup in Hungary, that one single individual might have 10, 15, even 20 companies. Both for evaluation, for risk assessment, and also for collection. If you make risk assessment, you can check what are the other companies, and if there were any bankruptcy, or what are the, you know, where it's red, there was a bankruptcy. And if you make collection, you might check what kind of other corporations this individual might have, where you might have access to some additional money sources. And last but not least, this is a special one, mainly for construction sector. I'm not sure how many of you working in a construction sector, probably not too many, but there is a special professional body which helps corporations to have the performance certificate and no disputes, because this professional body has the license to make a decision about any dispute in the specific sector within 30 or maximum 60 days. So you don't have to go to the court if you have a dispute. There is a professional body, and the decision of this body is binding for everybody. Okay. And last but not least, just one slide about technology and technology initiatives. I myself believe that technology is the future. You should be the driver. You should keep in mind that technology will make your life easier and your job more successful. So don't be too busy to look at new technologies. Thank you very much.